Welcome back, everyone. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with a true veteran in the commercial real estate world, Bill Himmelstein. Bill is the founder and CEO of Tenant Advisory Group, a commercial real estate brokerage firm dedicated to helping tenants, buyers, and sellers optimize their commercial space. Bill, thank you so much for coming in today. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Thanks for having me, Ahmed. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So, for our listeners who might not know you, would you mind telling us a bit about your background, how you started, how you got into, what made you get into commercial real estate?
Yeah, just a series of poor decisions led me to commercial real estate. No, I'm kidding. I started in commercial real estate about 25 years ago after graduating college out of St. Louis. I came to Chicago, and these guys were at Equus at the time, which has since been purchased by Cushman and Wakefield, were telling me all about what it was like to be a tenant rep broker. They said things like, you're going to be calling on CEOs and COOs of companies. I said, well, that's a pretty good network. I like meeting those people. They said, you're going to be helping them with one of their second largest expenses, which is their real estate needs, their leases. I said, all right, well, I like an expensive ticket item. And they said, and because of that, you're going to have the ability to earn very large commissions. Obviously, I like that. They said to me, they don't care when you come and go as long as you're producing. And I've always thought that is the exact way to be judged, is by your output, not by who you're friends with or who you're not friends with, but by the work that you're putting out there. That's how you should be judged and compensated. And then lastly, Ahmed, they planted the hook. And what they said to me was, oh, by the way, you'll probably fail at this. And they want those young kids like myself at the time that are like, no, you can't tell me I'm going to fail. I'm going to prove you wrong. That's what they wanted. They wanted the kids with the chip on their shoulder that are going to prove people wrong and show them that they can succeed. And here we are 25 years later. I'm still doing it. I proved them wrong, and I'm still having fun doing it. So I can't complain.
Really, Bill, that's an amazing story. That's very inspiring. I'm so happy to have you here. Your record speaks for itself. And also another thing Bill does is he saves an average of $15,000 per employee in leasing costs and over 20% in purchase price is truly impressive. What do you attribute that success to?
Very simple. It's about caring. I care for the result of the deal. Most of my clients I've built a relationship with, right? So I basically am putting myself in their shoes as if it's my money that I'm about to be spending. And so what I was taught at some of the bigger firms that I worked for before starting Tenant Advisory Group 17 years ago was, the mantra is all these firms, it's get hired on the deal, close the deal, get paid on the deal, move on to the next deal. My mantra with Tenant Advisory Group is always put your client's best interest first. In other words, do the best possible job you can so I can earn their future business, so I can earn their referrals. And in my mind, that's how you grow a business, is by doing the best possible work you can for every client that you have. We see every client, Ahmed, as an opportunity to grow our book of business, as an opportunity to get more referrals, as an opportunity to get their future growth and the renewals. So that's why we're able to deliver such exceptional results, is because we care. We're trying to build a business. No one knows Tenant Advisory Group. No one knew when I started, at least. And so we had to let our results do the talking. And that's why we're able to achieve such stellar results on behalf of our clients.
Wow, that's amazing, Bill. Your story is truly inspiring. How you care about your clients because some of these big firms, they just look at numbers. All they care about is if the deal is done or not, not how their clients feel. And you caring about your client, that's what makes you stand out, which is super, super important in today's economy. And it's clear that you bring a wealth of experience to the table. So now let's get into the topic that we're diving into today, which is three disturbing trends threatening growth for small real estate companies. This is something many of our viewers are concerned about. Bill, from your perspective, what is the first disturbing trends that you see hindering growth for small companies in real estate market?
Yeah, 100%. Right now, the most common topic of conversation is tariffs. And how is that going to affect our business? I've already had my first tariff casualty. I had a client we've been working with for several months, found him a great space. We negotiated the lease all the way through. All that needed to happen was for the lease to be signed. And they said, you know what? There's too much uncertainty with the tariffs. We don't know how that's going to affect things. And we're just going to pause, take a 6-month break. Now, the problem with that is if they come back in 6 months to work with us again and they're ready to do something, we still have to start over. We still have to do all the work we had just done. And that's assuming that they come back and don't say, well, the tariffs are wrecking the economy. It's going to slow growth. You know, Ahmed, all businesses really want is certainty. They just want to know the rules and the playing field, whether it's good rules, bad rules. You know, they just want to know what the game plan is, and they will adjust their strategy to play by those rules that are set by whatever administration is in power. And right now, there is a complete lack of clarity. There's full uncertainty, and that's making it really difficult for businesses to make decisions, which means decisions on signing new leases, decisions on purchasing properties, selling properties, growth or not growth, like whatever. They can't make any decisions because of what's happening with the tariffs. And so I think that right now is the number one most disruptive thing in the commercial real estate industry.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. You're absolutely right. And tariffs is really hurting the real estate economy. As you know, it makes a lot of sense.
And believe me, I'm not saying whether they're good or bad. I'm not making a commentary on what the policies are. You know, I'm an American citizen. I'm going to support whoever is in the Oval Office because I want to be a good American citizen and support my country. But I can just see it already in these businesses that we work with. They're having a tough time planning for the future. So they don't know what the terrain is going to look like, what the geopolitical environment is going to look like, what the economic, social and economic environment here in the United States. We don't know. So no one's making plans. People are kind of pulling the reins back. Maybe they're not investing in growth. So, you know, based upon the reaction that I'm seeing from business leaders and my clients, so far, you know, the tariffs have not been a good thing for the commercial real estate market.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right, Bill. Tariffs can be a huge uncertainty to clients, you know, as you mentioned. What's the second disturbing trends that you've observed?
Yeah, so I'm going to throw out there, and I think there's a decent amount of options to throw out here, but I'm going to go with interest rates. And the reason is pretty simple. A lower interest rate means the value of your building is greater, right? More of your net operating income can actually go to the net rent versus paying down your debt service when interest rates are lower. So, you know, there was talks from Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, about making a couple of interest rate cuts this year. He made those comments prior to the tariffs, I guess, coming into play. So I think the tariffs and how they affect the economy is going to have a pretty big impact on whether Jerome Powell feels comfortable enough lowering interest rates, which I think will boost the commercial real estate market and encourage more sellers to sell because they'll be able to get higher prices for their buildings, versus if the tariffs end up creating a significant amount of inflation, which is pretty much what tariffs do. All the economists out there, regardless of what party they're in, can agree that added tariffs increase the cost of goods domestically, right? That's why we have free trade, is so we can buy goods that are cheaper from elsewhere and keep prices lower for the consumers. But what tariffs are going to do is tax those cheaper goods to make them more expensive. And the consumer will ultimately end up footing the bill, which will cost them some more money, which will drive up prices of goods, which creates more inflation, which makes Jerome Powell want to do what? Raise interest rates.
Yeah.
Rising interest rates slows down the commercial real estate market. The value of an owner's building is going to decrease, and maybe they don't want to sell their building when they saw it was worth $2 million. Now it might only be worth $1.5 million, given whatever the interest rate might be. So I think interest rates could have a pretty big factor of being disruptive to the commercial real estate market. Obviously, them going down, I think, will be great for the market. It'll create a lot more transactions, which is great for people like myself, the brokers. And interest rates going up, which I think if tariffs are here to stay, they'll create goods to rise in costs, which will increase inflation, which I think will cause Jerome Powell to increase rates, which will slow down the velocity of transactions in the commercial real estate market.
Absolutely, Bill. Yes, interest rates play a crucial part in the real estate industry. You're absolutely right. What's the third and final disturbing trends that you wanted to highlight today?
Absolutely. And again, I think there's a lot of things we could point towards and discuss, but what I think is the most important thing that has the potential to disturb the commercial real estate market is AI. I think that the early adopters are going to have a competitive advantage. I think those that can, take folks like you, Ahmed, that understand it and are teaching other real estate firms how to use it productively. I think those firms that can put their trust in folks like you and learn how to maximize the value of AI and how to incorporate it in their business, I think they're going to have a competitive advantage. I think they're going to do really well. And those that don't implement it and try to use it and figure out how to best utilize it, I think they're going to be at a disadvantage and they're going to struggle and they're going to if they don't adopt it, I think over time they're going to go away. They're going to go out of business because those firms that, talk to folks like you, Ahmed, and learn how to use it and implement it and get the most value out of it, those people are going to find the most success.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Bill. These are all valid concerning points for small real estate companies. You mentioned tariffs, you mentioned interest rates and AI, which is very disturbing for small companies, especially you said AI. If they don't start taking advantage of AI, they will be gone soon. Goldman Sachs predicted that by 2033, 300 million jobs will be lost to AI. Now, if that doesn't concern the people, then I don't know what does. So if you don't start taking advantage of AI now, you will be gone in the future. And it's scary. And actually on Friday, Bill Gates said that in 10 years, AI will replace doctors and teachers. So now what about all these people going to med school, the people that want to become doctors? AI is going to replace them. But what they can do is they can start using AI so they won't be replaced, like you mentioned yourself. So, and I just want to ask you.
Well, let me add something real quick, Ahmed. I heard a really nice quote that AI is not going to replace your jobs unless you learn AI.
Yeah.
If you can learn how to use it, you won't be replaced, right? Because then you'll be able to take advantage of it and use it for the betterment of both your career and the society. But yeah, it's like AI isn't taking jobs. AI is taking jobs from people that don't learn AI.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. You're absolutely right. I was actually attending a conference with multiple AI experts, and they said the same thing. The people who use AI, they will replace the people who don't use AI. So if you're using AI, if you're taking advantage right now, you will not be replaced. But the people who just neglect it and they think, oh, it's technology, oh, I don't need this, I'll be fine. No, you won't be fine. 5 years, 10 years from now, you'll regret not using it and taking advantage of it. So I just
Great.
want to ask you, Bill, and what would be some ideas that we can use to navigate these challenges? What small companies can do to not be hurt by these trends?
Yeah, that's a terrific question. I think it varies slightly with each of those topics, but number one, I think it would behoove any firm, small or large, but certainly the small real estate firms, to really figure out how they can incorporate AI into their business, how they can utilize AI to be more successful, how they can utilize AI to deliver a better client experience, to deliver better results. As it relates to, what can companies do as it relates to tariffs and interest rates, I've always found that those folks that have strong relationships with their clients oftentimes weather the storms a lot better than those that don't have strong relationships with their clients. I mentioned that client that was on the finish line and decided to pause. Now I know that if they come back down the road and do want space, I know they're coming to me because I've got a strong relationship. However, if I didn't have a strong relationship, that would open the door to my competitors to have an opportunity to work with them. And there's no door. I know that I've got that covered. So my suggestion to help combat all other external factors is to really try and build strong, trusted, meaningful relationships with your clients. So when all these other factors are hitting businesses and making them change course or change direction or change their plans, whatever it might be, that the one constant is you, the broker, that has the strong relationship with your client. So whatever they do decide, whether it's to take a growth path, whether it's to downsize, whatever it is, that you be the broker that's there that works with them because you have the best relationship with them. That's my advice.
Absolutely, Bill. Those are some incredible advice. Like you mentioned, AI is changing the real estate world. It's changing everything, every industry that we know of. And you mentioned some pretty great advices, and I think people should take advantage of that. And it's a pleasure to have you, Bill. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, no, and thank you for having me. I enjoyed being on your podcast. I know you're doing great things with your clients and helping them figure out how to utilize AI. So keep up the great work that you're doing. If anybody does want to reach out to Tenant Advisory Group, the best way is really through our website, which is www.tagcommercialbroker.com. There's a contact us spot where you can email, and that email does come to my inbox. So happy to answer questions, happy to do surveys and let you know what's going on in the market, talk strategy. I love talking real estate, and I know my friends don't love talking real estate. So anybody, client, potential client, anyone with questions, I'm happy to field them, happy to help you out. And if we can't do a great job, we will point you in the right direction to somebody that will do a great job for your needs.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you. And it was a pleasure having you. All of Bill's contact will be listed down below, guys. So make sure to check him out. He's an amazing CEO. He will help you out. He truly cares about you. It's not like those big firms that you're just a number, you're just a lead. He actually cares about every single client. I've seen it. I've seen his work. And it's a pleasure to have you, Bill. Thank you so much for coming in today. And that's it for today, guys.
Thanks, Ahmed.
All right.